can almost feel like
Go
it's
ahead.
almost if I can like hear the creaks of the floor as I walk.
That's interesting. Good.
But there are chairs, but it's all very simple.
Yeah.
Like part of me thinks it's a schoolhouse, which
Okay.
I'm kind of like, that's, but it's homey. Like it's almost like, while this may not be this like a place to really lay down and sleep, it's like the mindset
Yeah.
of the home is there.
Very good. Comfortable.
Very comfortable and
Mm-hmm.
exciting. It's exciting to be there.
Exciting to
Like
be
there's an opportunity.
there. Beautiful. Mhm. I want you to walk out towards one of the windows for me and look outside. What's the view like?
There's a tree outside,
Mhm.
and it's a large tree. It seems like it's summer because the tree is filled with leaves, and there's a road in front of this building. It's a dirt road with like smooth little pebbles. Um, and it's like the road itself has been worn into the ground. And I'm not quite sure if the structure that I'm in is raised on that ground
Mm.
or if it's more the street in front of it has just made it look taller.
Okay. hmm You're doing really well. Okay. I want you to look and notice if you have a body as you're able to move around this space naturally. You probably have a body. Can you look down at your feet? What do you see? What are you wearing on your feet?
They are clearly they were made to be very sturdy, but they've been very much worn in, like a like they were meant to be a dark black leather, but
Mhm.
they've turned more brown with age, and it seems like they're tied with a thin leather strap. um I get that I'm female, um and just very simple clothing, like an apron,
Mhm.
and yeah, there's just there's this level of simplicity about all of it. Like it's good cotton, um, but just very sturdy. I mean, this is meant to be able to travel in, but also work in.
Mhm.
Um, but very there's a cleanliness there. Whether that's the apron, there's an apron tied around the waist. Um, I'm getting the sense the skirt comes up to about the waist as well, and it's a bit darker than the blouse that I'm wearing, but they're not. Um, I mean, they match just because it's solid colors, um, but it's not like a matching set. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
the day to day sort of
hmm
wear. The sleeves are long, um,
Right.
come down to my wrist, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm seeing jewelry on the hands.
hmm
Hands are not old, because there aren't so many wrinkles there. It seems like there is age, but not old.
Very good. And your skirt goes all the way to the ground?
Yes, it goes all the way down to, well, to the tops of the boots. It seems like the skirt to go all the way down to the ground would get it dirty very quickly.
Okay. All right. And your body feels healthy?
Yeah, it feels, honestly, I get the sense like I just walked 3 miles, and that's normal.
Good.
Maybe even that it rained within the week, because there's mud on the boots, but it's not like caked in mud.
Very good. Okay. Excellent. And what about your features? Do you get a sense of your hair, the hair color, and how you wear your hair?
Hair is up, though I don't mind when it's down, though it gets tangled very easily. It's very long. Blonde, freckles, blue eyes. Maybe a hat was there at some point.
Okay.
That seems to make sense. Yeah. Don't want to have like the skin get too wrinkly almost. So it's like you have to have a hat when you go out. But yeah, bringing back to the simplicity, I'm not feeling any jewelry, no earrings or any sort of necklace.
Okay. When you see yourself in this space, what is it that you're doing in this structure? What do you do there?
Honestly, it's kind of sad because I look around and it's empty, and the feeling is that it should not be empty, that there ought to be children in there. That's the thing I get this sense that it should be a schoolhouse. I don't know if it had been one in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like that's its purpose, but it's empty. There are no kids there.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and step outside of the structure, and I want you to describe the outside. Let's move there now. You're standing in front of it. What do you see?
Sort of like with the structure, it seems like the road I'm in front of, because it goes right up to the road. Maybe there's like a stone step or two that goes over grass and leads out to the road, but there's a sense that it should be busier, that somebody should have come by. There's, when I look out, it's easy to see the horizon. It's a lot of, if there are hills, they're small. It's like field, but it seems like some are plowed, but others are just sort of grassland. And then there are trees off in the distance. And it seems like there's like an old fence across the road, but it doesn't hold anything. It's just sort of there. So maybe it used to hold something. But it's only a few different pieces of the fence. I think all of this is all very picturesque. It's like something I would see in a painting.
Yeah.
And there's a wind. It's
a breeze.
Yeah, it would otherwise be a hot day, but not humid. And the wind isn't too strong, but it's just enough to keep the temperature comfortable. Though I can still tell I'm still kind of, it's still warm because I'm wearing this cotton that covers everything.
Okay, very good. Right. Is there anything else that you need to understand in the scene before we move you? Anything you need to know, observe, or understand?
There's this feeling of like, why? Like, why did things have to happen this way? It's like I'm looking back at the structure, and
Mm,
there's a memory there. There's a memory there of happiness and laughter and liveliness, and it's not there. And it's almost like this feeling like I did all that I could, but that's not enough. And it's kind of like this feeling of like, why am I here? Like, why do I get to be here? I'm getting like, I'm getting the feeling that there was disease and there was coughing involved, and I was trying to help, and I didn't understand why I didn't get sick when so many other people did.
mhm.
It is an awful feeling.
Okay. Mhm.
I feel like there was a cross necklace I used to wear, very simple, maybe with, I don't want to say it was like a leather strap, but just something very sturdy that connected to a basic wooden cross. And I used to tuck it under, if I was wearing like an apron that went all the way up, I would tuck it underneath so that it wouldn't hang out. But I don't wear it anymore. It's almost like there's a tan line there or something, but it's not there.
You're doing very well. All right. Let's go ahead and leave that scene. And I want you to go back in time, happier times of a memory in this structure, possible schoolhouse. I want you to just choose a day, a happier day, and just be there now. Tell me what's happening.
So their kids are different ages. Um, there's one in particular, I think she's maybe 16. She's older. If Yeah, she's almost like an assistant, because I feel like her younger brother is there, and that maybe even she wants to become a teacher. And the kids, it's kind of like you can tell they were taught from a young age to look presentable when going to school, but definitely on the way to this place, there are shirts that are untucked, there's mud on the boots, there's just
Yeah.
you can tell somebody went through the creek, or they took a different street, or maybe they just were rolling around, and they were a little bit late, so
Mhm.
they come in dirty with like dirt on their hands and their faces, and kind of scuffed up in their hair.
Yeah.
um it's not like there are so many of them, but the number feels right and everybody has their place. It's mostly boys. There's another little girl.
Yeah. About how many students do you feel are with you there?
So there's the older one, and then I nearly said three boys, but there's like a fourth one who's just not hanging out with those other three. He's doing his own thing. Maybe he's like, okay, he's cleaning something because he did something wrong. So he's like salty in the far like side of the building.
Okay.
Um, and there's a little girl, yeah, she's like 7 or 8, and it feels like there could be more, but the time period, like it almost seems like that time of year, some of them have started to work out in the fields again.
Okay.
So maybe it would seem like early spring, yeah, because I'm seeing like coats on the wall, like coats have been hung up, but otherwise the clothing that they're wearing isn't so heavy. And I'm noticing I didn't have to light a fire that day. So it's just the heat of everybody in there is enough.
Okay. Mhm.
So yeah, I almost feel like there would be 13 younger ones if everybody was there, but because of the season, some of them have already started to
Mhm.
start working
Okay, very good. What do you see yourself teaching them?
as much as I can.
Mhm.
There's cursive uh, up on a blackboard,
Oh,
and they're like blocks or something in the corner for counting,
okay.
and they all, well, no, not all of them. It seems like they're having to share very small blackboards, and some of them, the blackboards are beaten up, like some of the corners are kind of scuffed up,
Mhm.
and I feel like I have to hoard the chalk because they like to use as much as they can.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Mhm.
But yeah, just general things. It's almost, I try to teach as much as I can because I get this feeling like because many of them have to go work for their families, that, I mean, I just try to teach them whatever I can whenever they're there.
Yes. Very good. Awesome. So let's go ahead and move you to where you live. What is your home life like? Let's just move there now. You're floating to where you live. Just be there now and tell me what you see.
I I see why I'd rather be at the schoolhouse. This is like a very small side room off that it's like it's been built off of somebody else's house, and it is my entire living quarters. I mean, there's a cot in the far corner. It's very dark. It's like paneled, dark paneled wood, but it's almost like the wood is so choppy. Like if I were to run my hands across it, it would hurt. Um, so I don't do that. There's like a little wash basin sort of thing on the other side of the bed. And I get the sense that I really wash myself more than what the norm is because I want to appear better than where I live. Though I also get the feeling that where I live was like granted to me rather than I'm renting it or something like that. It's more like it comes with my position, which also makes me think that I I chose this position because I really felt like I was doing better in the world and I was really helping something,
Mhm.
but I do not like living in this particular place. It's just dark, it's damp.
Mhm.
Um I if there's a fire hearth or something, it's very small, very ashy. It's drafty in there. And I feel like this is not like what I deserve, but what is right. and now I'm wondering what guilt is there? Like, why do I feel like this is what I deserve? Or what's right? Yeah, it's almost like this is what I've signed up for. Um, I wonder, because there's still that guilt there, even though it's a happier time. There's still that guilt there. Earlier, I I I was going back and forth on whether I had a wedding ring on, and I think I did, but before I was living here and before I was at the schoolhouse, and there's guilt there. There's almost like this I should have tried harder
Mhm.
kind of thing, and because I couldn't succeed, I this is my life. But I find joy in being with the kids and teaching them something.
Mhm. Very good. Let's explore that. If there was a relationship that led to you living in this place, let's go back, further back, and search for a relationship that you might have been in. Your mind will know and it will go there. You could see yourself with that person now very clearly.
The house is different, the town is different.
Okay.
Um, it's colder there, but the house is nicer. It's not plaster, but there's white on the walls, and it covers it covers where the wood would be from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
No, that this could have been a stone structure actually. But regardless, just the detail. It's a simple house, but it is so much better than where I was.
Okay.
There are windows and there's a fireplace and it's clean, and it's a okay. I think there was maybe an extension built on the side, and that's the bedroom, but primarily it's a one room house, and I can see a little kitchen area, kind of maybe it's an iron sort of stove. You use fire with it, and there are some pots and pans. Not too much, but just enough. I can tell that I was cooking regularly. And there's a chair in the far corner,
Okay.
and that's where he would sit when he was home. But it
Mm.
seems like he wasn't home very much. He was gone, like he was traveling, and that
Traveling.
that really hurt me. It's almost like the chair was empty, but I wished him to be in it.
Okay.
Um, and there's uncertainty there. There's a lot of uncertainty I because I want him back with me so much. I feel like he I feel like I lost some trust in him and what he was doing and how far he was gone and what he was doing while he was away.
Mm.
But I have this attachment to the idea of him just being with me. Um, and when I see him, at first, like the idea of him walking through the door, there's just so much excitement. There's just so much excitement because I never fully know exactly when he's coming back. And with as much excitement as there is, there's also this there's a lot of nervousness because I want to make sure that I've got the things that I need to make his meal, and what he likes and what he likes to drink. And he's a big guy, like wide set kind of guy, not like overweight by any means. I mean, seems it seems like he has a wagon and two horses, at least one, and that's how he travels, which is another kind of wealth. But he's got brown hair and dark eyes, very like stoic sort of face. Um, I feel very small next to him. It's not like he's so much taller than me. I feel like I take up so much less space whenever he's in the room. Like it feels like he takes up the entire corner where his chair is.
You said you're doing amazing.
I there's like this desperate need to like I don't know if like love is the right word, but there's so much wanting there, but there's also a kind of fear, and it's not just him leaving. It's because there's a fear of not doing what he needs. Yeah, it just feels like whenever he's home, I'm just like, what can I get you? What can I do?
Mm-hmm. Does
And
he seem happy with,
uh,
his what it is that you're trying to do for him? Does he seem happy or not satisfied?
it seems like that's what's expected. Like
Right.
I'm supposed to do that. Um, and I work so hard to make him smile.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he doesn't smile so much anymore. Um, it's almost like whenever he's home, he does the same sort of thing. And he's not gentle with me. Um, like I look back and I think about how he used to be gentle and how much I loved that because he was such a big guy. And I felt so like safe and protected. And I don't feel that way. And I try to look around and remind myself of my good sturdy house and my needs being met. And I want to feel safe. And it's like there's this constant back and forth between me wanting him there and me just wanting to be safe.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Very good. I want you to see him in front of you. Just get a clear picture of your husband. And you can keep this information privately, but I want you to look into his eyes. Do you recognize his soul as someone in your current lifetime? Sometimes you'll hear the name, sometimes you'll see a picture of who it is. Just take a moment.
This is wild. Oh my God, this is George. This is George.
This is George.
This is George. And like part of me is like
Wow.
me right now being like, that can't be George. George is kind. George is flirty. Like he wouldn't. And then there's like this other side of me fighting. Is like this is a regression.
Okay. Don't
There's
overthink it. Just
yeah,
allow
I
it
know.
to come through. Just allow it to come through. You're doing really good. Mhm. Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, really the sadness that just struck me now was just the idea of the idea that he could be mean and that he wouldn't want to be around.
Mhm.
And that's the thing too, that he's not, like when I say that he's not gentle, it's sexually. I mean, he's not, it seems like there used to be a kindness there and something has changed.
Mhm.
And that's what I look for so much. Um, to
Mhm.
see the kindness, to know that he cares, to know that he wants to be around. But I know it's somewhere within me that I know that he doesn't, that he wants other things. And I feel like whenever he's home, that's as good as I'm going to get.
Mhm. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and leave that scene and let's move to an important decision. And you've made many in this lifetime, but your mind will choose one in particular important decision. Let's move there now, fully understanding what this decision is. Be there now.
I left him.
You left them.
Like I left him. I decided to leave.
Mhm.
And the ring is on the table. It was while he was gone. I didn't know if he was going to come back, and I couldn't trust myself, and I couldn't trust him. And I left. I walked out. I took very few things with me, and I left.
How do you feel?
Like shaky. Like my feet keep moving, and
Okay.
it's rained a lot. There's a lot of mud,
Mhm.
but it's like the rain and the clouds are clearing, and I'm moving, and I keep going. And the next thing I know, I'm outside of the town, and I'm going further, and it's getting drier, and the sun is coming out, and I'm still walking, and I'm gonna get to another town before nightfall. And it's almost like I'm going to figure something out from there. I'm going to figure something out once I get there, whether that's to go to the next town, whether that just
Okay.
I'm gone.
Mhm. Very good. Is there anything else?
I feel very far away from my parents
Okay.
because I don't go back there. I don't go back to them. I don't know if I liked them. I feel like getting married was the way to leave them. I don't think I loved them. Um, and I knew that they wouldn't approve of my decision, and want I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to be caught. I had to go.
Mhm. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and move forward to an important event, something very important that has happened that you need to see for understanding. Just be there now, fully understanding what is happening in this event.
I am older, and yeah, I'm older, and there are a lot of people around. I think this is at the schoolhouse because there's plenty of room, and it's a going away party for me because I am I'm moving to go. I feel like I'm going to be a missionary. Like I'm going to teach kids elsewhere.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I feel like I'm going to teach. Yeah, it's like I'm going south. Like I thought I was in Ireland before or something. But I mean, regardless of the case, maybe I don't know, but I feel like I'm about to make a huge change, and I'm going to go in like to South United States and teach Black kids,
Okay.
um, like as a missionary sort of thing. I feel like I've gotten my faith back. Um, that there's been time and there's been healing, and for the first time, I want to give more. I don't want to just run and try to figure it out. Like I really want to give something to somebody
Mhm.
and make that work.
Yes, that is important. Mm. I'd like to revisit one of the feelings that you brought up earlier about the schoolhouse and the children. And if something did happen that was tragic in the schoolhouse and why you had these feelings of sadness, I want you to go to a scene that has all to do with that feeling. What happened there?
I went to visit them where they lived because they weren't coming into school, and just very simple homes, the dark brown, some of them one room homes with just a fireplace or something in the center. But yeah, I visited them, and there was this feeling of I there was nothing I could do. They were in so much pain. They had a fever. They were coughing. Um, and they were so pale. It's like they weren't eating.
Mhm.
And there was like this, for some of them, there was like this confusion over who I was. And for others, there was like this hint of happiness. And I think of the older girl who was helping me out, and she she didn't get sick. She decided to get married instead of teach. Um, And that really bothered me, because there were traits of what she was doing that reminded me of myself. And I really hated that. And I feel like I tried to talk to her, but she had already decided that she was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see her after that. It's like she got married and she moved on.
Okay.
And I feel like this was after her brother had died. I think there was a sense of, she didn't want to feel like she was a burden. Nobody had medicine. Nobody had anything. It was just something that came through, and it took the kids. I don't know if any of them made it.
Okay.
And that's where the sadness comes from.
Very good. All right, let's go ahead and move to your proudest day. Your proudest day. We're moving there now. Tell me what you see.
So I'm in another schoolhouse, and it's once again the brown kind of paneling. It's very, very beaten down. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see bugs crawling around. There's no glass in the windows. It's just shutters.
Okay.
And it's dark. It's like, no matter how much I open the shutters, it's always just dark in there. And there are kids in there. They're Black students, and they they're reading. I think some of them are actually reading the Bible. And it's like the Old Testament, so they're having to really sound out the really long names and words and stuff like that in there. Um, but I'm happy, because I feel like some of these kids were enslaved at one point. And okay, I think I'm part of the Reconstructionist movement. Me being down there as this kind of missionary type is to be with them, and I'm not down there to so much spread Jesus and stuff. I'm down there because I believe in them,
Mm-hmm.
and I want them to do well, and I want them to have nicer things than they have. Their clothing is dirty, and some of them don't have shoes, and I enjoy when they smile,
Yeah.
because some of them don't. It's this kind of, they're scared, some of them, or some of them have been very scared. And I feel like when they can connect and just be present, and that reading is an escape. We have, I think, 3 books. One of them is the Bible, and they all have to kind of pour around it to read it. But they like the stories, and they like learning, and they tell me that their parents are proud of what they have learned, and they tell me thank you, and they bring me flowers. They're just field flowers. They bring me flowers, and sometimes like spices, like mixtures of spices
Mm-hmm.
that otherwise I wouldn't use, but I enjoy what they give me. um yeah, I deeply care about these kids. It's entirely
Mhm.
different, and I just want to give so much to them because I really believe in them.
Very good. All right. Now, I want you to either move forwards or backwards in this lifetime that we are looking at. Something that's important, an important day that we might have missed. You can move forward or backwards, something for the very best learning for you to receive today. Just be there now and trust what you see.
I was 12. It was my birthday,
Mhm.
and I was given a ribbon. I had a ribbon in my hair, and the best dress that I had was very clean. And I got a treat, and the treat was a very small cake.
Mhm.
And my parents were there, and the cake was what I wanted. I mean, I got a ribbon, that was nice, but I wanted the cake.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's a very modest little cake. Um,
Mhm.
I, it was purchased. There's a bakery. Uh, I want to say it was in town. I don't know if we were in town. We weren't far. Um, and yeah, I was so excited about it. It was like the day and the time that my parents really listened to what I wanted,
Mhm.
and that was a big deal. And it was something I was excited about, but I didn't want to show them how excited I was. But I was so excited. Just
Mhm.
yeah, and I ate the cake. It was great. It was the best thing I'd ever had.
That's good. Okay. Is it important for us to stop and acknowledge your parents in that lifetime for a recognition of who they were, what role they had, and who they are now? Just take a moment and trust what you hear, what you see.
I I feel like my dad is my friend Josh.
Okay.
It's like
Mhm.
one of my best friends. And then my mom,
Yeah. Look at mom. Just
I
allow.
I want to say it's one of my friends, Kira.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah. The higher self just sort of drops that info to you. Just trust it. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move ahead to one final an important day for you to be in this lifetime that we're looking at for your best learning and understanding. Let's move forward in time. Just be there now and tell me what's happening.
I'm older, and I have I've been taken in by one of my students and her family. She's
Hmm.
she's in her 20s. This is still in the South. And she's all these little ones.
Yeah.
um, and a good husband. He's
Mm.
very strong. And he loves her so much, and I can see that. And both of them asked me if I would want to live with them as I got older. And I still try and teach the kids, but it's getting to be a bit much to keep going to the schoolhouse. So now it's like some kids come and visit me, and I help read over their letters.
Mhm.
And it's not just the kids; it's older people too. Older people who are closer to my age, even older than I am, who they sometimes bring me paper and they ask me to write letters, or just to write things down for them. And they take them into town, the letters, and they do what they need to do.
Mhm.
But the sense of warmth, the sense of family, like it's not a fancy house. It's very simple. Um, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have all these kids around, and I'm
Mhm.
so happy to feel like I'm being useful and that I'm helping people. And there's this warmth, and I like that. That
It's
makes me feel
beautiful.
like I'm doing something right.
Mm. This student of yours that is now like family, do you feel a connection with her?
A friend of mine, her name's Carly.
Mhm. Yeah, wonderful. All right, let's go ahead and move to the last day of your life in this lifetime that we're looking at. And you'll be able to just float above it if you need to. It's the last day of your life. No pain, just observing. What do you see?
I I just didn't wake up.
Hmm.
Um, I can tell I've been in bed for a while. Um, like I'm sore and I'm heavy because I haven't been able to move. And I can see like everybody in the house had brought me a blanket, like their own personal blankets. They all brought me the blankets, and I had two extra pillows that were not mine. And there's a little doll in my hand. Um, it was given to me by one of the young ones. It
Hmm.
was her doll. It looks like it was made um, out of a dried corn stalk, um,
Right.
and it's got like this little like bright pink dress on and buttons for eyes and
Mm.
this long dark hair. Um, and I was told that I was being given the doll to uh, to keep me company even when they couldn't keep me company, and that it's almost like the doll was meant to like help me cross over, like to give me reassurance, and like the doll would go back to her owner. But I don't know, there's almost like there's this ancestral tie there.
Hmm.
uh Not like this dramatic, soul inhabiting the doll. It's just more like the doll represents an ancestor, like a grandmother. And the doll is comfort, but the doll is also a friend. And the doll is in my hand with all these blankets, all these pillows, and yeah, there's no fear. There's no. I feel like I've really let go of my grief and my sadness, and in the night, I let go, and there I went.
Wow. So as you've now physically died in this lifetime that we're looking at, I want you to just float up, up, up. And your guide now will come down, down. You are fully in a soul state, directly connected to the highest consciousness of your mind. Your mind's like a vast computer holding all the stored knowledge of your entire existence. As your guidance comes and joins your soul, they're approaching you now. They may come in the form of a light or an actual human form. Trust what you see in front of you. Tell me what you see.
I see two. One who I recognize as my guide, um, and I smiled because there was familiarity. It was kind of like, oh hey, but she's holding hands with another woman, um, and my go-to guide in this life. Um, she is white and she's holding hands with a black woman, and the black woman has short hair and almost like this braided. I don't know how to describe it, but it fits in her hair.
Mhm.
And she's wearing a long, like cream colored dress that comes in at her waist.
And my headphones just died.
I can hear you. Just continue.
Okay, if you can hear me,
I
I
can.
can't hear you, but I can fix that. Um, but
Yep.
yeah, with her, yeah, she has this belt, and there's this other wrap around her chest. I don't know if it's like I want to say that it's metal, but I don't know if it's gold.
Mm.
Um, but there's so many little designs. I'm still in this state. I'm gonna turn up my volume on my computer.
That's okay. You will stay in the same state,
Okay.
completely relaxed, and you'll be able to close your eyes and continue seeing what you see.
Okay.
Take a breath. You were describing all of the details of your guidance.
Yes. Um, so yeah, she's new. Um,
Mhm.
I like her. She has a kind smile and a very round face,
Mhm.
and she's wearing sandals.
Okay.
And she seems very poised, but not in like not in the way that like not like prim and poised. It's just more like she carries herself and she carries her weight and she carries her importance with her.
Beautiful. Thank you. Now they're going to speak to you telepathically. And they will give you a message that you need to hear in regards to the lifetime that we just witnessed. What was your life purpose? What were the lessons? Hear them now and repeat what they say.
Is to give back. To give it's part to let go of not only what happened in that life and to move forward. It's also to let go of what happened in a life prior to that, where I had been enslaved and I had no control, and I couldn't. When I tried to leave, I was killed. This was a way for me to go back and serve those who I could not serve in my previous life. And it was a way, it was a way for me to choose to leave what situations that made me feel unsure and uncertain, and that made me feel like I had doubts.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I made the right decisions, though no, at the time they were the right thing to do. They were very scary, but they were the right decisions every single time, every time. And I lived with love. I lived with so much love. And finally, at the end of my life, I finally allowed myself to truly accept love for myself and from others for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to learn that.
Very good. Mm-hmm. All right. And now listen to what advice your guidance has for you, for Rebecca. You have this clear, open communication now where you can hear what advice what advice they have for you today.
Embrace what is given because you have put in the work. And I've been put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally at a place where I'm able to learn from the lessons of this life and my past. And I'm finally at a place where I can embrace the good things that are coming without feeling like I have guilt and like I don't deserve it and that it's wrong or that I could have done more. There's encouragement to open up and let it be, because what's going to happen has been built many times over, and it's finally I'm finally at a place where I can really receive it.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. And lastly, the consciousness of who is George, this consciousness of George, who formerly was your husband in that lifetime. Getting a lot of energy in my ears right now. What is the connection? Is there something that you can do for George to help him move on from where he is stagnant? Any messages there for you? Any learning?
I think our connection in this life is meant to be simple, and in allowing it to be simple, that allows us both to heal from past life issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I I don't I don't think I knew him in the life that he was in when he decided to stay behind,
Yes.
but yeah, we're meeting in a time where I feel like I have a lot of control over my life, over who I talk to, how much time I give them, and that's good. Uh, he does his thing and I do my thing, and we allow ourselves to communicate on a mutual place where we want to talk. But otherwise, it's freeing because there's no expectation. It's not like I feel like I need to do something or be something. I just get to be, and that's freeing in itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think for both of us.
All right. Are there any final words or feelings that are coming through for you now?
It's like I'm being told to be the one that I want to be. Um, be the person I've manifested. Just do it. Like that's what I got. It's just like, okay, do it. Go live. That's what you want to do. That's what makes you happy. Living, going, and being present, and embracing every second and what's happening. So go do it.
Very good. Mm-hmm. All right. All right, sweetheart, just go ahead and take a breath. I'm going to just bring in some light language that I am feeling right now. And this will just be felt in your heart, the light language or codes that will move through your body, through the cellular level where they need to go to release any energy cords, anything, any residual that might be left from this life that we were able to see today. E shua ala e ke kiono otu. Utu tuiniama ashate. Aka kiono mo o lo ushu u. Una momoa aka kieshete. Aka kosheti kia a. Eni mio o lo utu toshe e. Ni mo o no ulu u. Utu tuinkia akashe. Akashe. Kiomo ono u tu u ushi. Iki kiono la akapia. Eke kuna mo o kokushu o. Uno ala akakupoe. Eke kimia ate. Ala mo asha. Eshi iki akishu. Uno mia ala ono ushu upolo. Akukunia. E pupunia ashe. Ashe. Ashe, ashe. Right, now I'm going to count you back. I count to 10, and when I reach number 10, you'll be wide awake, feeling wide awake and wonderful. Number 1, 2, you're beginning to breathe a little faster because you are beginning to wake up now. 3, 4, you're becoming aware of your physical body, and you are reintegrating back into your human body, leaving all energies behind. 5, 6, you are becoming aware of the sounds in the room and the sounds outside of the room. 7, 8, you are aware of your physical body. You could start moving your hands and